Okay, here's my shop tour. We'll start on this side of the shop and just go around. This is my Powermatic drill press that I got in an auction. I rigged up this little lifting screw. You turn this, it moves up, push down on it, it goes down. So it's able to go up and down with this vise on there, which weighs about 50 pounds. It's a pretty nice machine. Changed out the bearings a while back. It runs pretty good. Next is my welder. This is a combination. It does stick welding and wire feed welding. It does everything. It's a little big, but it does everything I need. Back here I have my oxyacetylene welder. Here's my air compressor that runs up to the hose reel. Here's where I keep all my sandpaper, my workbench. I got several drawers of tools. Here's my woodworking stuff. So here's all my, well, not all my hand planes, but a lot of my hand planes. I got a low angle jack plane. Got this nice carriage maker's plane. Recently got this number 2 Bailey plane. I've never used it, but it's sort of cute. There's my mortising attachment I keep in here as well. Got my mechanics tools, nails up top, screws along the window. Here's various supplies, nuts and bolts. This drawer has all my chisels in it. Used to be a boat builder, so I have a nice slick, some gouges, miscellaneous tools. Got some more hand planes here. Mainly like rabbiting planes, things like that. Things I use more often. This is sort of my wife's corner here, the freezer and all their canning stuff. I got lumber. This is mostly softwood lumber here. Oh, I got my cheapo Grizzly horizontal bandsaw. It works pretty good though. I'm not careful, it tends to throw the blade, but it works pretty good. Got my wood stove for the winter. Probably not the best. You can see I rigged this little shield up here to keep it from burning up my lumber. I've never had a problem. Although just recently I melted the front of my fan that I use for circulating air. Here's my hardwood lumber. Got lots of things. My next project I'm going to do something with this nice piece of live edge walnut, English walnut. Got a bunch of maple here, figured maple. This is some cherry wood, some more walnut. This is my lathe area. I got different tools in here. Got this lathe at an auction, fairly cheap. Works really good. I got my old Craftsman bandsaw. Does really good. I recently, you can sort of see it here, you can see one end of the jack shaft. I use it for cutting metal, so I reduced the speed so it has a double belt reduction here to turn down the speed. It works really, really good. Come along here. This is a workbench that I built, but I almost never use. I got a woodworker's vise here and never use. But this is my grinding station here. I fabricated my own one-way style grinding attachment. This is normally here for grinding my wood gouges. So I made this. It's just a copy of the one-way. I had access to a plasma cutter, so I cut this all out. Works really nice. These are more nuts and bolts. I never have to go buy nuts and bolts because I always seem to find what I need. Another auction, I got a bunch of sandpaper. I got boxes of miscellaneous sandpaper. Here's some nice figured maple. I guess I'll go back this way to some of the woodworking equipment. I got a nice dual drum sander right here. I got an old Grizzly 15-inch planer. It has the spiral, the carbide spiral head. Here's my chop saw. Everything. Oh, by the way, everything's on wheels. Everything rolls around. So I used the outfeed or the infeed table to use my chop saw. It works really good. Here's some of my extra mortising chisels. This is my this rolls around here, this whole thing, but this is my joiner. It's an old refurbished Wallace joiner. Works really good. It's not super long, but it works really good. I got wire wheel. This is the drill press I use for my mortiser. It's an old Delta. Works really good. Again, no screw on the table. It's a pain to raise and lower the table. But I got an old slow grinder thing that somebody gave me. I don't use it much anymore. I need to probably mount something else there. This is an old Craftsman table saw in this funky rolling frame. This is the first big tool piece of equipment that I bought about 30 years ago. But it works really good. I made my own T-lock fence for it. So this sits in here. It's an old cam, it's cam lock. I basically copied the Biesmeyer fence. I put myself through college making furniture using this old saw. Works pretty good. This is my new saw here. It's an old Delta Unisaw. It's much better. I got my dust collection system here. You can see it goes out back. I'll show you my back shed. So the dust collector's outside, and I got a pipe that comes down that I can drop down to any of the equipment I need to use. This is my other bandsaw. I've been salvaging old treadmills. So I got an old treadmill that had a 3-phase motor. And so I have a variable frequency drive to run the 3-phase motor. And I put the extension block on here so I can resaw 12 inches. It's a 3 horsepower motor on there now, and it works like a charm. Right here is a project I'm working on right now. It's I'm building a foundry. So this is going to be the furnace. I'm just right in the middle of putting that together. I don't know if you look down there. I got brick in the bottom. This is some of the ceramic wool that I'll be lining it with. More treadmill motor stuff underneath. This is my belt grinder that I've posted a couple times while I was building it. Works really slick. This is my forge that I just modified it. I'm going to be using the same burner off of this for the furnace for the forge, for the foundry. I redesigned this a little bit so I can stick longer things in through the end. I used it yesterday. It works really good. This is my homemade anvil I built just out of 1.5 inch plate that I cut up, and it does everything I need it to do. Just yesterday I cut this, flame cut this hole in here and put another hole here for piercing metal. I've used it a couple times now. It works really good. This is my original wood lathe. Again, has a DC treadmill motor on it with variable speed. That's not plugged in right now, but it works really good. It'll go super slow. I made this in college. We cast all the parts for it. So the brass handle, the mount right here, the tail stock is cast aluminum. This brass handle we cast. The rest of it is just fabricated metal. Oh, these bearing holders are cast and then machined. Works really good. It's a 14-inch. So, but I recently got at an auction this old Rockwell lathe, and it works really good. It's a nice variable speed. It was missing the handle, so I had to fabricate this handle. They just had a pair of vice grips on there, but so I have all my tools lined up here. Here are some of the tool rests, different tool rests that I made. But that's pretty much it. I don't know if I've forgotten anything. A lot of it's just old storage. Oh, here's my old workbench I've had for years and years. I use this one most often when I'm planing wood or whatever. Got my bench dogs, my smoothing plane. So we'll go out back and look at the dust collector. Here's a walnut top I'm working on for my son-in-law. So this is a garden shed. It houses my vacuum. It's pretty nice. I picked this up off Craigslist for, I think I paid $150 for it. This is where I store all my, some equipment I don't use anymore, a little 4-inch joiner and my belt sander. We store all of a bunch of wood for wood turning. Oops. You can see some bowls that are roughed out. Got more figured maple back here. Anyway, that's basically it for the shop tour. Garden's not quite in yet. A few things are planted, but that's it.